Welcome to Revival Remodels. I'm Kyle, the founder, and this is my partner Megan. We've been remodeling homes our entire lives, and we're here to share our expert advice and money-saving tips on home improvement, remodeling, rental properties, and more. We bought this rental property in my hometown in Delaware for $48,000. It was in really bad shape, of course, but that's what we specialize in, so it was perfect for us. It's located right on a river in the heart of town. Walk to schools, walk to restaurants, great for a small family and a perfect little rental. Today we're going to take you on a tour of all the upgrades we did, everything we had to do to restore the property to full health, get the tenants in, and get the property cash flowing. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you a financial breakdown of every dollar we spent so that you can see what it takes to get a rental property like this up and running. As we check out the before photos, I'll give you a brief history of how we acquired this property. It was owned by an elderly lady in the community who contacted my father, who's well known for construction and business and rental properties around the town. So naturally, when a property that's in this bad of condition comes up, we get the call. As you can see, the property was in really bad condition, and that's some of the best advice I've ever received regarding rental properties, is that you get out of the property what you put into the property. And that's why with any rental property that we acquire or look at, we look at the potential that we can provide, because our intent is to go the extra mile and go above and beyond what a tenant or landlord typically expects. And the reason we do that is because it attracts a higher end clientele. I always hear so many rental property owners complaining that they've got unexpected repairs, they're dealing with crappy tenants, they're fighting in court, and it's just thing after thing. And I look at the house and it's right there in plain sight. You took shortcuts, you skipped out on things you should have done, and when you do a rental property rehab, you really only have one good shot. I work on houses all the time. You open up the walls and you see things that should have been replaced when the house was remodeled, and they just didn't do it. And it's guaranteed 4 or 5 years later, that pipe in the wall, that wire in the wall that looked a little frayed, whatever you skipped out on, you're going to be cutting back into that wall, opening it up, and making those repairs later, which is going to cost way more than if you had taken the time to do it right in the first place. The main things I see people skimping out on is plumbing and electrical. They think that because a pipe was put in the wall and glued or soldered in there 50 years ago, that it's going to just be there for another 50 years. Metal corrodes, plastic freezes, and becomes brittle. Same with electrical wiring. If you had a home built before 1960, you probably have such old wiring like this that if you cover that up in the wall, you are subjecting yourself to a world of pain. Take the time, cut that stuff out of the wall, pull the wires down, and get back up in there and put it in fresh. That guarantees, with the modern wiring, with the modern plumbing, that you're going to be able to sleep at night for the next 30 to 40 years while you own this rental property. We took out all the old carpeting, which was absolutely disgusting. We laid down a 3/8 underlayment that was an ACX grade plywood so that we could have a nice level surface to install our luxury vinyl plank, which is what I recommend for any rental property. It's a much more durable material these days. If you go with a good name brand, get a quality product, these luxury vinyl plank floors are going to last a very long time. If you are going to have an issue in your rental property, most chances are it's going to be in the bathroom. So if I were to focus on anything during a rental property rehab, it would be the bathrooms. Every stitch, every pipe, drywall, shower, sink, toilet, everything's got to be fully replaced. This is the downstairs bathroom here, which you can see we fully replaced everything, including the window, drywall, shower, electrical, plumbing, and all. Upstairs, there was no bathroom. Just outside the 3 bedrooms, we had this unique space where we could add a bathroom. So we decided to frame one up. We installed a pedestal sink, a toilet, brought in some new electrical with some overhead lighting. All the windows in the house were replaced, and then we added a door in the opening here that was easy access so that you could go to the bathroom in the middle of the night just outside the 3-bedroom doors, and you didn't have to stumble down the stairs. After the bathroom, the kitchen is the next most likely place you're going to have an issue in your rental property. As you can see here, they hadn't touched this kitchen in a long time. Had some good help on this project. That's my brother. And here's my dad and our buddy Jeremy putting in new windows in the kitchen above the sink there. And here we are a short while later installing the cabinets. When it comes to kitchen cabinets in a rental property, you do not want to go cheap because tenants are rough on stuff. They're going to spill, scratch, beat, bang, slam doors, and all the above. So you want to get a quality cabinet with solid wood that's going to last a long time, so you're not replacing it in 5 to 10 years. Another thing you want to make sure you do in your kitchen for your rental properties is have an exhaust fan that goes to the exterior of the house. There is nothing worse than coming back to your rental property after 2 or 3 years of a tenant being in there, only to realize those food smells and oils and fish and grease are going to be really tough to get out, and now the whole house stinks. The roof is another absolutely critical component of your rental property that you absolutely cannot ignore. Especially if you're buying a $48,000 property, you can expect there to be some roof issues. And of course, we did run into some. I believe we actually set a world record here with 10 layers of shingles on top of each other. Unbelievable. We took it all off, redid the roof, and now it's got a brand new roof that'll last for another 30 years. One thing I would recommend when you're evaluating a rental property is to find a property that has an easily accessible roof, either a single-story property or if it's a 2-story property, at least look for a roof that's accessible and has a slope that's manageable so that you could do the roofing yourself. Roofing is not hard, it's a little dangerous, but you can do it yourself, and you can save $10,000 to $15,000 easily if you've got a couple buddies and they want to get up there, do a little hard work. All right, here's the after photos. It took us a total of 8 months to complete this project. During the time of the renovation, my wife and I had day jobs, other priorities, and this rental property was a side project for us. If we were 100% dedicated to the rental property, we could have done the entire renovation in about 2 to 3 months. But the important part is we worked nights, weekends, called in family and friends, and we got it done. The property was initially a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and we were able to turn that into a 3 1.5 bath with the addition of the half bath upstairs. And that made this property really marketable as a rental. We were able to rent this property right away and get tenants in there as soon as we were finished with the project. All right, let's take a look at the financial breakdown and I'll show you how we were able to pull this off. People think this is almost impossible when I show it to them, but we did it. I created this dashboard for all of our real estate investments. That includes the rental properties that we own, but it also works great for evaluating future properties because this dashboard can show all of our categorical expenditures from the purchase price of the house down to every receipt for the project. And then we can figure out where we spent the most of our money, what percentages went to which repairs. And then I also have the monthly rent potential and payback period calculated on the property so that we can see when we will get our money back and then look at the profitability of each project from small square footage to large square footage projects and see what gives a better return for us. You'll see that the three biggest expenses for the project were the kitchen, the bathrooms, and the roof. We spent $15,000 on the kitchen, we spent $5,500 on the bathrooms, and we spent $8,500 on the roof. And these costs look very low, and that's because they don't include any labor. These are strictly the materials that we bought, and that is the only money that we spent. Every single ounce of labor was done by my wife, myself, my dad, and my brother, maybe a friend or two here and there when things got really thick. But as you look down the cost list here, most of the projects we were able to spend under $3,000 for plumbing, electrical, drywall, paint. So the materials are very little cost in relation to a lot of the projects that you should do on a remodel. In total, we spent $53,330 on the upgrades, and in total we spent just over $100,000 on the entire project. Here's the breakdown for the payback period as well as cost to upgrade per square foot, which is pretty astonishing. Total investment was $101,330. The monthly rent potential is $1,300. Payback period 78 months or 6.5 years. The property is a square footage of 1,450, and that brings our upgrade cost per square foot to just $37. And that's what it can look like if you're able to provide your own labor and put in that sweat equity, as we call it. We're always looking for partners in the real estate space. If you'd like to partner with us on a project or invest with us, reach out to us on our website at revivalremodels.com. Leave a like, share the video, drop a comment, or subscribe to our channel. That's the best way to support us and keep these videos coming.